Great. Have any one of you, I will walk around so you'll track me, right? Have any one of you stood in front of the board and presented a new strategy that eventually faced rejection to objection? Any one of you? Hey, some, right? All of us, you know, if not, you will face it in the future, right? Let's face the reality. You know, selling a strategy is not an easy, especially when it comes to the high level of stakeholders. In 1999, I assumed responsibility as vice president for a company called Orbotech. Orbotech is still a global leader in automatic optical inspection in 3 different industries: printed circuit boards, LCD, flat panel displays, and SMT strategies, SMT components. So these are the 3 of them. Now, when I did the overlap with my predecessor, we flew all over Asia Pacific, from country to country, to introduce me to the new offices, and one country we missed. Guess what country? China. China was not there. China was perceived by Orbotech as too low-tech for high-tech Orbotech. And we just missed that. A few months after, I flew to China to meet a few Taiwanese customers, and I was shocked to find their technology roadmap. And surprisingly, in 1 year, they will catch up with Taiwan, Korea, and Japan. So fast, China was moving. It was more than 10 years ago. So I rushed back to Hong Kong. I was stationed in Hong Kong. And together with a team and consulting firm, we crafted a new strategy for China. Free trade zone in the north, in the south, and getting into 8 service centers near the customers in all the industrial zones. And shut down Hong Kong and move everything to China to be close to the customers. And very excited and very proud of this strategy, I went to present it to the management in the headquarters. And guess what? Just no. And it was objection. So where the objections came, not because of the plan. Not because of the plan. It was the first one from the CEO of the company, who was my predecessor. And of course, it reflected on his poor judgment about China. The second came from the CTO, which reflected on his poor technology roadmap planning about China. And the third were the rest of them. Because how come a subsidiary will actually come with a strategy while we are the corporate, right? Who's supposed to do the strategy? Subsidiaries or corporate? The corporate, right? And that was the 3 main reasons. It boiled down to 3 main issues. It's first that we didn't sell and they didn't buy the vision. And second, that we didn't engage them in advance to make it much smoother. And the third one regarding technology and technology roadmap. So through the years, I developed a very simple strategy, or how to deal with strategy, which have 3 ways to do that. Is first, selling the vision. And second, how to engage the people. And third is how to embrace technology. Okay, so this is what we will do this afternoon in half an hour. And hopefully, in 30 minutes, we will have really 3 new tools to sell your strategy. Okay? So let's get started. The first one, we'll start with the vision. So how to sell the vision? So vision is the destination, right? And if you don't know where we're heading, how do we sell a strategy? Now, all of us know the vision is in the website, right, of the company. Is this the vision? No. The vision is every strategy must have its own vision. So when we craft a strategy, we must get and find out what is the vision for this specific strategy. So this is the roadmap. The strategy is just the road, how to get to our destination. So we must start with the end in our mind to have a good strategy for every strategy to have the vision so we can see it and then we can build it. And without a vision, we all know that it's very difficult to have the clarity of where we are heading and what we like to achieve in a specific strategy. Now, what is a vision? A vision is somebody that people really want to be part of it, right? If a vision is something that you cannot relate to, so you won't engage the second step. You won't engage the people in this vision, and you find it hard to execute because not all the people are with you to implement the vision. So how do we make them want the vision? First, all of us, as strategists, whether you are CEOs or chief strategy officers in your own companies, you must be a salesman. We must sell the vision and sell the strategy. Do you agree with that? Right? We need to sell it. And to sell it, we first must be evangelists. We must be really passionate about and be very excited and have conviction. And passion, it means that when we go and present it, it's just we cannot stand there in monotonic voice and talk about figures and figures and figures, right? Because it's very difficult to engage just through the logic. I'll get down how to do that and how to sell a vision in a very compelling way in a few moments. But conviction, purpose, and clarity will help us to be much more passionate and excited about selling a vision. And it's very important when you come to the board and they will feel that the people that present the strategy are very excited and the team is excited about the vision. So, and the last one is show what is in there for them. How can everyone will be part and out of this strategy? How they will earn from this strategy in their own way. So, let's look at how can we make a vision compelling. The framework for this has two components. This is the secret sauce of a compelling vision. The first one, most of us know how to do that. This is the logical part. The figures, the market analysis, the market share, and this is what we think about it, right? The second one, most of us usually ignore, is the emotional part of the vision, right? Is how people feel about the new strategy or the vision. The framework for building a compelling vision, I'm sure that many of you have read it. It was in 2006 published in the Harvard Business Review by Collins and Porras. Since then, I haven't seen any good work that done about a compelling vision. So I really recommend to all of you that haven't read this work, it's already published on the web. You can find it. It's Building Your Company's Vision. And many of you are familiar with how to articulate a vision through a core ideology, core values, core purpose, and envision future, which is the big, hairy, audacious goal, and vivid description. This is actually the summary of this article that published at 2006. Summarize this with a little bit with a tweak. We have the core values. This is the convictions that tell us how to move forward in the vision, what we cannot compromise, and what behaviors we should expect from the people. The purpose, why we exist and why we are here. I think we have a few people from QNet here, and I'm sure that each one of them, really you will ask them what's the vision, what's the purpose of this company. We are very clear. For our company is raise yourself to help mankind. And this is why we engage in emerging markets in Africa, in the Middle East, and all over Asia. This is our focus markets, and every employee knows that our core value is service, and we really demonstrate it each and every day. So this is very important when you come to a strategy or a vision, which is a sub-vision, which is not aligned with the vision, then there is a problem. The third one is the storytelling, and this is the part that many of us really sometimes forget about, that we need to tell a story. And the story is where are we heading, how we will look like, and this is how to engage the people in the cubicles, because they don't understand us when we talk about these high-level strategies. How do you engage the people in the cubicles in this strategy in high level that sometimes they just don't understand. I will give you a few examples how we did it in QNet in a few moments. And the last one is, of course, the big, hairy, audacious goals that are aggressive, far out, and long term. So let's look what I'd like to share with you a few stories and how it worked in QNet. So those of you that are not familiar with QNet, we are a direct selling e-commerce company incorporated in Hong Kong, 800 employees, and expanded to all over Asia, except of China, which are now, because of regulatories, we are waiting to a few more years to see for the right, wait for the right timing to penetrate, but very strong in India. And from there, we are continuing to expand into Russia, North Asia, very strong in the Middle East, and North Africa and West Africa. So this is an Asian company that expanded to our emerging market way beyond the typical Southeast Asia, Asia Pacific. So 2006, after 7 years since our incorporation, we found that we are selling mainly durable products, and the life cycle and the life value of the customers is pretty short because they buy one product, and then there is no engagement for continuous of purchasing. And we said, so what's the problem? Let's just add consumable products, and then they will have repeat purchase, and they continue to buy. So what we did, this is what we did. You know, we just launched a few consumable, and guess what? Nothing really happened. The sales of this consumable didn't give us the result that expected. So we went to the second step. We put it all in the Q shop, and what we created an e-store, separate e-store for consumable, and branded it. And the result was not as what we expected. Still, we didn't got what we wanted to achieve in terms of growth. And then we went to the next step. We created a full-fledged, wholly owned subsidiary, separate brand that completely did a paradigm shift toward consumables, and this didn't work as well as much as we expected. Then in 2009, we decided to go back to the desk and re-strategize. And then we found that the vision was not sold to the stakeholders. And stakeholders is are the distributors and the customers and the shareholders. And then we aligned ourselves. We sold the vision, and then together took all the pillars of the company to align to this strategy, from product development to ecosystem product, to incorporate new subsidiaries in India, Indonesia, Malaysia to support consumable, and so on. And then, since 2006, we are growing in this new strategy after the vision was clearly sold to all the stakeholders in the company. So this is the first part, which is the vision. The second one is how to engage the people. So who and how? So first of all, who to engage? Everyone. We cannot engage only the shareholders or the directors of the board of directors. We need to engage our peers, our employees, board members, everyone. Otherwise, when we go to the execution stage, we'll face a challenge to have them all with us on board. And how to engage? I found out that engaging one-on-one, even though it's tedious, time-consuming, energy-draining, is the best way to engage all the stakeholders, one-on-one. Now, why? Why it works? Even though it's tough, why it works? Because when we engage one-on-one, we can adjust, adapt, and accommodate to various personalities, especially when it comes to board members. For example, one example is there are two kinds of people, visionaries and linears. Visionaries are people that can see the puzzle, and you can share with them an envisioned future, and they can see it and see how the puzzle comes together. Linears cannot. They need to see step by step, how do you get to this end? Is it right or not? And, I'm a visionary, so, as you presented me, but I cannot execute the strategy because I'm not a linear. I must have linears with me. And all the time we need to balance between visionaries and linears, because linears are the ones that make it happen. This is the one that actually can execute. But all the time when you speak with a visionary and linears, you don't speak the same language. When you speak, if you go with a vision and explain it to a linear, you will fail. Because he needs to understand, hey, dude, how did you get there? What's first step 1, 2, 3, and 4? Otherwise, I just don't understand what you're talking about. They cannot envision that. Therefore, the one-on-one allows to adapt to the language of each one of the stakeholders, especially when it comes to board members. You don't want to surprise them and get to the board and get those camps that one object and the other one follow the trend and join them. So this is the people engagement. I like to share a few engagement. The first one is engaging employees. I started doing it last year with videos, because we have 800 employees scattered around the world, and it's very difficult for me to speak with each one of them. So I just produce a video in my office, just put a camera in front of me and start talking. And the way that I present it to employees is in a very simplified way. I just make a short video and I present a strategy. What is the core strategy? So today I will share with you a simple model that we call it the four-wheel drive. So why four-wheel drive? Because as you know, four-wheel drive can ride a very rough terrain, because each one of the wheels of the vehicle actually is independent of one another. So the four-wheel drive is just I wanted to share the example how to share a strategy with all the employees, that they will all understand it. I didn't take the strategy from what we presented to the board. I just simplified it that even the tea lady, and I asked them, will know how to, and most of the employees know what is the four wheels, and they know how each one of the wheels. The first wheel is the network growth. The second one is repeat sales. The third one is retail. And the fourth one is the success funnel of our distributors. And this one is very visual, 4 slides, that's it. This is the way that, and this is the way that an example of employee engagement in a very simplified and not overwhelm them with all our strategic slides, which were sometimes overwhelming, right? The second is ecosystem. Since we wanted to integrate durable and consumable, we developed ecosystem strategy. So we presented the ecosystem as it is. What is an ecosystem? How the algae and the coral and the fish work together and live together as one ecosystem. And the end result, the first product of ecosystem, was the HomePure, which is air filtration, because it's a durable that requires the filter to continue to be purchased on and on, like an inkjet or printer that we use, right? So this is an example of a strategy that developed and introduced. The third example for other stakeholders, mainly peers, which is what we like to emphasize here, a disruptive innovation. So we share and build emotions here. So this is a disruptive innovation, from film to digital cameras, and from CRT to LCD, and from bulb to LED. And eventually this is our industry, and QNet developed disruptive innovation, and this is a new strategy. I won't get down to the strategy because it's a new one, and we are implementing really disruptive strategy right now that may change the destiny of this industry. The last one is just really a few weeks ago, which I presented, building emotions within the board. I presented 2015. It's a fake one. It's not real. I took the one and just put ourselves at the top 10. We are not yet there. This is the billion and above companies, up to 12 billion sales, annual sales a year, and these are bigger competitors, to build and to envision within our employees and our peers the thought, hey, we are there, see that this is the way it looked like in 2015. So this is a few examples of engagement that are very important for execution, because while we share one-on-one, we find the people with the spark in their eyes. And those are the people that usually we find them to be the owner or the driver of specific strategies to implement. Sometimes you need a project driver for a strategy. And while you do it one-on-one, you can see, and it's outside of their organization chart, you see that they are very passionate, they have the drive, and you bring them to drive a strategy. It's very important. And I believe that since we are mostly focused on the logical part, is focusing on the emotional part really helps in execution, because we are intentional and passionate, and people do because they want to, not because they have to. The last one, the logical, is all of us are pretty strong in business plan and action plans. And the way that we incorporated it into the KRA and the KPIs of all the employees is using the balanced scorecard. We did it in this year, 2012, we started. We found that this model is actually very effective to measure performance and align to the strategies of the company, because it has the customer financials, organization, employee growth, and all made it very well-rounded in terms of KRAs and KPIs. Previously, we found out that most of our KPIs, KRA, came to sales, a gross profit margin, profitability, and so on. And this one is a really great model, especially for monitoring employees' performance. So the last pillar is leverage on technology. So, you know, when some of you that use a GPS, we know that when we make a mistake, and I drive in Malaysia, I live in Malaysia, and it's very difficult to drive in Malaysia. So every time I miss the exit, I hear recalculating. And then the GPS takes me to the right destination. But what if we put the wrong destination? Then it won't help. We will just reach the wrong destination. Technology mistakes are fatal in organization, right? Because if we make a mistake in technology, it will be very difficult to rectify that and recalculate your way to the destination, because it will be very costly. So the first on how to leverage is ride the trend. You know, some of you that came from banking here, or investors or traders, you know that it's more safe to ride a trend, right, rather than be a contrarian. There are some very successful contrarian, but mostly it's more effective to ride a trend. A few years, 2 years back, I think that I couldn't imagine that social media will be so powerful in business. I thought when I see my daughter engage all day in Facebook with her friends, I couldn't imagine that our all customer service, reputation management will be on the same thing that my daughter plays all day long. Right? But look, if we didn't ride this, because I thought it is a fad, but it's a trend, let's ride it, I think that it would have been a really critical mistake, but not leverage on social media. This is one example why we must ride the trend. The second, we pretty much train to follow best practice, right? Say, where's the best practice? Let's follow it. Well, best practice doesn't lead to innovation. Do you agree with that? It's only the next practice that leads to innovation. And mostly so, I believe that we should all the time not force ourselves to look into best practice, but the next practice. The third, and coming from semiconductors, you know, the analysts usually look at and benchmark to the industry. All the time is semiconductors, they benchmark you to the industry. So we all train to follow the competition and see what the competitors are doing, right? Well, wrong. Actually, what is really can help in leverage on technology is follow other industries, not your competitors. You can follow the competitors, but definitely spend time and effort to follow other industries. We're not competing with Amazon, but we are looking what they're doing. We're not competing with Groupon, but we are looking what they're doing and learning from other companies, different industries. I don't know if you're aware, but for example, airlines, do you know whether they learn how to actually accelerate the turnaround in the airports? From Formula One. Couldn't sponsor Formula One, so really into this sport, but they learn it from the pit stop of Formula One, and they copy the procedure to the airline in the airport to accelerate the turnaround. The same about hospital. You know, previously, if you remember, 10 years back, admitting to hospital was not really fun, right? The hospital went to the hospitalities, to hotel, and learn from their check-in. And if you come, even I'm sure, I left Hong Kong a few years back, that even in Hong Kong, if you go to a hospital here, it's really, hey, it's like hotel, right? So they learn that from hotels. So you learn a lot from other industries. And the last, we want people that are like-minded, right? That they are think like us, but innovation and technology usually come from collaborating and partner with people and companies that think differently. And this is not easy. It's easy to say it, but it's very difficult to work with people that think differently. So let's look at a few case studies. I want to give here an example, which in theory, I'm sure that all of us are familiar with Michael Porter, the competitive advantage, competitive analysis, right? So I will show one, and the second one is the Blue Ocean that we implemented last year. So for example, this is the direct selling industry, and if you see, most of our competitors are in cosmetics and wellness and household, and this is it. So following the Michael Porter, we see where to position ourselves, what market nobody else is engaged. We looked at Webucation. This is a Forbes magazine. 10 years ago, Peter Drucker said that Webucation is the next great growth opportunity. So following this, last year, we launched an e-learning product line in collaboration with the university in Switzerland. And this is part of where no other of our competitors into education. And since our holding company acquired university, acquisition of university in Malaysia, right now we have full integration, and we are going into online education, high academic courses, and eventually end up with BA, MBA, or PhD that's sold through our platform, while none of our competitors are in this business. This is one example of Michael Porter. The second one is very interesting. How many of you are familiar with the Blue Ocean or implemented that? Great, because especially for fast-growing high-tech companies, this is very interesting strategy to implement. Just briefly, you know, the Blue Ocean, you analyze what is the red ocean and how do you move to Blue Ocean from competing in existing market to creating new market space, and work on the value cost is the major promise of Blue Ocean. The Blue Ocean has a few parameters, which one of them is eliminate and reduce cost while raise and create new value. So this is the model, and so you increase the top line while increasing significantly your profitability. After doing that last year, we found that we suddenly, you know, you start to think Blue Ocean, it changes the way we think and the way that we strategize in the company. For example, quite immediately after doing a 2 days Blue Ocean strategy in QNet, we decided to completely exit from major product line that we developed for more than 2 years with high investment. We planned to move into core nutrition supplements, and we decided to not to go there, just to eliminate and reduce and move to more virtual digital products like e-learning, online travel, and telecom. So this is one example of a Blue Ocean strategy that really helps us to move on and grow much faster. So I see three types of technology leverages. One is incremental, you know, take it slow, step by step and add more new technologies. This is really cannot, in our world today, it's very difficult to move fast in leveraging technology through incremental technology. The second is disruptive innovation. Disruptive technology, well, the lucky one that successfully leverage on that, this is a winning formula because you actually come and, as mentioned in the previous session, you need to do it, especially in China, very fast because there are probably 50 other people that are doing the same. And it's very difficult to defend your intellectual property. And the last one, we found that this is very cost effective, is combinational technology. And this is the fastest and the most cost effective. Why? Because you take a few technologies and combine them together. I'm not sure you're aware, but you even can patent. If you take 3 or 4 technologies and bind them together in one product, you can go and apply for a patent for that because nobody thought before how to implement it. I'll give you 2 examples of 2 new products that we launched. We actually launched last month a new slimming belt. You say, well, slimming belts, you can find them in the market everywhere, right? But we are the first ever successfully integrated all the technologies from EMS, electrical muscle simulation, to far infrared, to other technologies in one slimming belt. And we register a patent on this one. So this is kind of combinational technology. And it's a very successful new product that we didn't expect that in the first month we will sell out all our stock. And this is some kind of but this is a huge market. Weight management is a huge market. The second one is air purification. There are many air purification. And here there are 2 technologies that were binded. One of them is water surface tracking. Nobody ever had it because we acquired this technology. We haven't developed. And combine it together with nanotechnology membranes. And with these 2 simple technologies, we reach the highest purification that any other giants like Panasonic, Philips achieve, which is 0.01 micron. And it's a very small device. And just by combining 2 technologies, we are going to launch this product next month and also patent, just taking a few technologies, bring them together to one product, and we are going to have a new patent for a 3rd product. So in just less than half a year, we are going to register 3 patents. 3 patents in 6 months. This is really very fast innovation, and all of them through combination of a few technologies. Okay, so let's wrap it up. So what's the action plan, and what are the takeaways from this afternoon? So first of all, selling the vision is driving emotion. That was the main point that I want to say, that not just the numbers and the figures there, it's also how to make it compelling. The second one is engaging the people. My recommendation, try the one-on-one, and you will find out that you can adjust, adapt, and accommodate to each one of the people you present. And when they all come together, it's all done. They're all solved, and the level of objections and rejection will reduce dramatically. And the last one, technology, is watch other industries, not only your own, for next practices, and use these combinational technologies. You don't find this. This is the term that I put it here by myself, is combinational technologies to accelerate innovation in a company. So that was my message this afternoon. So thank you very much. And now I'm open to questions. Wow. Did I shock you or what? No questions. Okay, thank you.